I've paid 5 designers on Fiverr to design the same logo, and I've got to try and guess how much each of them cost. If I guess wrong, then I have to give $100 to a charity. All I know is we've spent $1,000 on these designers and they cost this. I know the individual prices, but I don't know which one's which. The brief we gave is for JetSet. JetSet is a European commercial airline. Not really, it's fake. Unlike other airlines, JetSet has high-end integrated entertainment systems in their seat. All of them asked for more information and asked a load of questions about target audience, colors, and all the things that you would expect. Pause if you want to read it. Okay, the first one is The Pixel Company. Let's see what they did. Okay, first of all, this one is pretty surprising. I kind of like it, but there's a few things that I would do different. This J comes out quite a lot, but what I love is the airplane in the S. That is a really cool use of negative space. However, it could have been done a tiny bit better just to make it a bit cleaner all the way around. Mind you, all of these designers had 1 week to do this. The colors are great, nice red, passionate, we see that. It's kind of more of a coral than a pure like crimson red. There's a few things in here that add a bit more detail to it, which I'm not a fan of, kind of like this part here where it curves. But not only that, they sent over a few other ones with more interesting negative space. This one's got an actual jet in it. I don't like this because it kind of feels broken. You can't see the jet. This one down here is close, and obviously this one is the best, I think. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. Now I've got to try and guess the price of what we paid for this on Fiverr. The difficult one. Let me see. I'm going to say 150 because 2 of them cost 150. So it's kind of like a 50-50 split, I guess. It looks good, but I wouldn't say it's 220. So I'm going to say 150 for now.
Wrong! Very wrong.
Let me know in the comments how much you thought this designer was. The next designer is MedScene. Let's see how she did. Okay, I don't know. This one doesn't feel as much like an airline. It looks more like an entertainment company. The first logo didn't really have anything to do with entertainment. It was more of a traditional airline logo. This one's got a bit more of the entertainment side, to which I can kind of get. The typography has got some similarities. The J again is massive and it's got this condensed typeface. There's something weird with the E there. I feel like this part of the E kind of needs to move up. Feels like very low, and this part of the T kind of needs to move to about here. Not here, there. That's what I would say. So you've applied a star and an airplane vertical stabilizer fin. I can't see the fin in there particularly. If you were just to show me this icon and logo, it wouldn't really show airline to me. And I think when we design logos, it needs to show and be appropriate as to what it is. You look at any other airline logos, unfortunately, they all kind of look similar in their own way. I don't see anything to do with airlines, but I do see entertainment with the star. You know, Hollywood, the star, the connotation to that kind of makes sense. The colors are a bit strange as well. I wouldn't have chosen these. They don't really spark me as airline, but if you're going for a more unique approach, then maybe. The J is really putting me off because at the top of it, it's kind of, it doesn't really make sense that it starts up at the top. I'd rather it start normal, and you've also created this curve around it, as well as on the crossbars of the T. I do this, I squint like that to see how well it would do when it's small. I'm not like scowling at the work. Here's some mock-ups. This is what I like. I like the mock-ups on the planes. The last guy didn't have this. The black type doesn't really do it for me. You've got this very colorful icon, but the type is so dark and it doesn't make me feel like entertainment. It doesn't show any personality to it. It kind of looks a bit corporate to me. This is the second version, and this one feels a bit more entertainment-y. I don't think this would scale well because you can't read it. The typeface at the bottom's good, but no, this one doesn't really cut it for me. I like the approach of the fin up here. That's actually quite interesting. It has a bit of movement to it, but you can definitely tell it's that tail alignment fin at the back of an airplane. We'll quickly look at the third idea. I mean, 3 ideas. The first dude sent us just 1. I can see a lot of potential with this one on the right. I like the yellow. That's quite different. It's sunny. However, again, you've done a lot to the typography. There's a lot happening with it. You've curved a lot of sections, which has added more detail. So when you've tried to be more original and unique and make it stand out, All it's done is it's made it a bit more detailed. So I would be dead set or jet set on not doing that. How much did MedScene cost? I don't know how much. I don't want to, I do want to give money to charity, but I also want to win the competition. I'm going to say MedScene cost $120, but you let me know in the comments how much you think it was.
He was also wrong.
Clever, but also wrong.
But it's also dead wrong.
The third one is SymbolX. Let's see what they did. You've created what I think is a great design. I've literally just opened this up. This is cool. It's a bit corporate for me because of that blue. It kind of reminds me, this could be a bank. Like a bank plane. I really wanted to see more of the entertainment unique part of the brand in the design. Right now, this is a great, I think, a really clean, great airline logo. You've talked a lot in the presentation that you've gone here about the speed and movement, but again, I would love to have seen more about the unique part of the company or the airline, which is the entertainment thing. There's like whole entertainment systems in your seat, like a TV in front of you. That's the idea, and that's what makes people stand out. And I think designs have to show the uniqueness for them to stand out against all these other competitors. I would also be tempted, I'm not going to butcher it, just to move this up and to the right a little bit. Maybe. No, maybe you had it better. Okay, I see. You probably spent a lot of time on that and I've just butchered it. So here's some other images here that you've shown with the icon. I like this because it shows like the entertainment side of an airline, but it doesn't speak to me as an entertainment logo. Like I would like to see it show a bit more of like maybe a computer monitor or a flight seat. So when you're in the seat that there's something there. Just giving off that, and I hate the word, vibe of entertainment. Let me have a look at this secondary logo. And what I'm surprised about is that these guys are sending over multiple versions or different logos entirely. Now this one feels more in line with more of a gaming style, which is more entertainment, I think. I like the use of black and the type here, even though beforehand I was saying don't use black. It's because it kind of looked a bit strange with the typeface. This one here, JetSet, it's like jet black. It makes sense. It's jet, speed, movement. The actual icon is that there's a lot going on. I like the way that you've used the yellow and orange, but I don't particularly understand the icon all too much. For the price, how much do I think that cost? I'm going to say $150 again. I think that was $150, that one. Maybe that's just me wanting to see something better. Let's see. The next one, Lyridon. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot happening. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, welcome aboard, JetSet. Ooh, I like that. You're actually... Oh, this is a crazy cool presentation. I like that. I like that touch. Okay, the logo is interesting. The icon is a bit strange. There's a few things that I would do differently. Let me explain. When you have an icon like this, if I scale out, you can only see this thin strip there. That doesn't work. What you need to do, you need to make sure that there's enough space. You kind of have to like make it more extreme so it's seen at smaller scales. So I'm just roughing this in, but that looks a lot better than it did before. It just needed a bit more space around it. What I like is that it kind of looks like a tick, a correct tick, not one of those animal ticks. That would be creepy. So here you've got more of the explanation. So you've got the sun at the end. I like that. It might have been cool to see the sun being a bit more like a rising sun. I think this would have worked better if it did this. We'll take the gradient, boom. Take the gradient, boom. I think that looked a lot better, and we'll just get rid of this. And we would add something else in there. I think that would look a lot better, or even what we could have done is take this, copy it around like that. That's kind of like a V, but if we turn it upside down, it's kind of like JetSet. I'm not a big fan of shoving loads of different ideas into this abstract image. It sometimes works really well. Most of the time though, that's a fluke. The typeface, I like it. It's nice and condensed, but it's bold enough. It doesn't show anything really about entertainment again. I love the mock-ups that you've used here. You've got a great presentation, and the images of the aeroplane inside is great. It really shows how it could work. Nice. You've even shown a boarding pass idea with the passenger name is me. Kind of spelt me wrong though, but that's okay. I forgive many things. Yeah, all these advertising materials, great. You're really getting the brand across. I think my main problem was just with that logo. It feels a bit unnecessary with that nub at the end of it. I think this one cost $220. The presentation shows a lot of mock-ups. It shows that you've gone into depth with the read here. High quality images with great colors. I like the gradients within those. Let me know in the comments if you got this one correct. Okay, on to the last one. If you are still watching, thank you. We're in this together. I'm getting a bit nervous actually watching the last one, because this one technically is going to be $300 because I've got no other prices to go for. So my expectations are high for this one. And the guy's name is ItsMe. Let's see how they did. It's a difficult one for me because I don't understand the colors of the icon. It's similar to the last one, but it kind of feels more sandy. Ooh, that aeroplane mock-up is actually pretty decent. I like that. The colors are very, I don't know, it feels high end. We're seeing in the typeface a lot of these rounded corners. I'm not too sure why. It must be one of those aeroplane things. I guess it does make sense, but I wish they wouldn't round it so much.
They actually sent the files and then came back and resent the files because they decided that they wanted the tops to be rounded.
Oh really? They decided?
It was a choice.
It was a choice. Well, personally, I'd like to see it without it being rounded. In fact, let me see what it looks like without it being rounded. Ooh, clean. I know why you rounded it, but we're going to fix this just a little bit. Now, I am a typographer. I'm obsessed. I'm like a maniac when it comes to typography. I can see there's a little kerning issue with the J there, and that's going to mean that the E needs to move in a little bit. Kerning, if you don't know, is the spacing between each character. And it's essentially like an optical illusion. Like even now I can see that the not ET, extraterrestrial, but the ET in set is a bit too far away. Perfect. I prefer it without it being rounded, personally. It does make sense a lot of the time to have them rounded because it shows that aerodynamic. I am surprised about this design because the typeface looks good. You've done it backwards though. You've made Jet not bold and set to be bold. So the main thing that I see is set, not Jet. The one thing I like about this icon here is that it is a bit more abstract. The colors are very brandable as well. It feels more like a cosmetic company, like icon. This is a good case of showing like abstract logo design. So I'm going to say that this one cost $300. That's my final say, even though I think this one is actually $200 and whatever dollars. It's fine, it's $300. Okay, now that I've checked every single design that was paid for, I'm going to work out how much I have to pay to charity because I know I've got them wrong. I've probably got them all wrong. I guessed $150 for the Pixel company and it was $120. Okay, so that's $100 to charity. That's fine. The MedScene. I'm pretty sure I got MedScene right though. For MedScene, I guessed $120, but it was in fact $150. So that's another $100 to charity. So $200. I really didn't help myself here. With SymbolX, I said $150 and lo and behold, it's $150. So I got that one right. Nail on the head. Even though two of them were $150, so it's bound to happen. Lyridon 28. I guessed $220 and I was right. I'm very happy with that. Not happy that I'm not giving money to charity, but just happy that I was able to work it out.
Oh, that's quite a hole you're digging.
I feel a bit like a mastermind right now. It's me,
Mario.
I guess 300 and it was 300. I am happy that I got it right, but I'm also sad that I didn't get more wrong. So we're going to be giving the $200 to charity. Thank you to Fiverr for sponsoring and making this video happen, and to all of the Fiverr sellers for taking part. Let me know your thoughts, and if you're a Fiverr seller, let me know down below in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Check this one out here. Good B-roll shot. I'm nervous.